Hey, I'm Andrew Connell. What you're about to watch is the overview lesson to one of the chapters in my MS-600 exam prep guide course. This course is available for purchase on my site, voitanos.io. I'll include a link to it in the description below the video. This overview video, which is the first lesson of the chapter that you selected, gives you an idea of what the chapter is going to cover. You can learn more by checking out the description below the video about this chapter. If you've got any questions about the chapter or the course, just drop a comment below the video and I'll be sure to get back to you. So with that, let me get out of the way. Enjoy the overview lesson from this chapter. Welcome to my prep course for the Building Applications and Solutions with Microsoft 365 Core Services exam, also known as the MS-600 exam. I want to start by first welcoming you to the course, and then I want to explain what this course is, what it isn't, and explain how you can get the most value from this prep course. This course is all about taking and passing the MS-600 exam. And this is the only exam that you need to take and pass in order to become a Microsoft 365 Certified Teams Application Developer Associate. This course is focused on preparing you for the exam. Now, if you've never worked with Microsoft 365, you most likely don't have the experience that you need to pass the exam. Let me be clear. This course is not going to teach you everything that you need to know to pass the exam. Rather, this is a guide so that you'll know everything that you'll be tested on. If you don't know something, no problem. I provide the resources where you can learn more about that topic. This course is for those of you who have a good foundation in Microsoft 365 development and who want to be in the best position to pass the exam. Now, there may be some things that I cover in this course that you're not familiar with, but like I said, I'm going to give you all the resources where you can go learn all of those things on your own time. Now, before I jump into this, let me first introduce myself. I'm Andrew Connell, and I'm the course author and the founder of Voitanos. I'm also a Microsoft MVP for Office development, and I've been a Microsoft 365 developer for a very long time, ever since it was been around and was first introduced as Office 365. My development experience is rooted in web and cloud stacks, and I have been a SharePoint developer going all the way back to 2003. I also write a lot about Microsoft 365 and Azure development on the Voitanos blog and publish videos for web developers on the Voitanos YouTube channel. You can find a lot of my work on the Microsoft Learning site, as Microsoft frequently hires me to write learning modules and labs related to Microsoft 365 development tasks. We'll revisit my involvement with Microsoft Learning and see how I'm leveraging it in this course to save you a bunch of money later. Now, before we get too far into the course, you probably are wondering why you should trust me. I'm a longtime Microsoft 365 developer, and as I said, I go way back to well before there was even a cloud. I remember the days back when Office 365 was first introduced, even back further than that, to all the products that we're going to talk about about this exam. Things like SharePoint and Azure Active Directory and extending Office as well. Even so far back that some of those products didn't even exist, which means I've learned them just like you have straight from the beginning. Now, I've passed the MS-600 exam and acquired the Microsoft 365 Teams Application Developer Associate certification. Well, I was certified. I actually let it expire intentionally, and I intentionally didn't renew it. Why? Well, because once you pass the exam, you can't retake it. And I wanted to make sure that I could keep taking the exam once they published updates so that I could see what changed for myself and make sure that this course contained the latest information. So I guess you can say that I've not only passed the MS-600 exam, but I've also failed it. But hey, it works out in your favor, so we're good, as long as we're on the same page. Now, I alluded to this earlier, but I was also part of the team that worked with Microsoft to help develop the exam and the associated certification. Now, I'll explain what I mean by that as we get on further in this overview chapter, but for now, I'm just going to say that I was part of the team and I have insights that benefit you from this in this course. Now, it's worth repeating that Microsoft also hires me on a consistent basis and has for multiple years to help create a lot of the self-paced learning resources. In fact, I'm still under contract with Microsoft and I work with them on a quarterly basis to refresh and ensure that all the content that I've written in their modules and all their hands-on labs are current and they're updated so that they make sure that as they update their platform so that they can make sure that when you run through these labs and modules, they're always current and working. Now, you might wonder, why did this guy create this course? Or what's the point of this whole thing? Or what's his motivation behind this? Well, I initially worked with Microsoft in 2019 while they prepared the MS-600 exam and the associated certification. And when they launched the exam and certification, as someone with a history in creating online courses, I kind of thought to myself, I would be in a great position to create an exam prep guide. So I looked at all the other courses that were available on the market, and I realized that there really isn't a good guided exam prep option. And the ones that are out there, they're really expensive. And I didn't find anyone offering a self-paced learning option. Most of those other courses, they tried to teach you all the things that you needed to know and would be tested on in the MS-600 exam. Now, there were some instructor-led options, but those require you to either sit in a classroom or join and watch them virtually. And both of these options, they require you to dedicate 4 or 5 days minimum at your time and also spend $1,000 or thousands of dollars to take them. I felt like there was a much better option, so I decided to create an affordable, self-paced option that leveraged existing resources that are also freely available. And that's what this course is. So what's the goal of my course? Well, my goal for this course is to act as a guide to help you learn what you need to know and to avoid spending time on the stuff that you don't need to know in order to pass the exam and get certified. Now, let me explain a little bit about what this first chapter is about. And then we're going to start diving into some of the more individualized lessons. This first chapter contains a few lessons, and what I want to do after I wrap up this initial introductory lesson is to talk about the exam and the certification so that you can understand what they are and what were Microsoft's motivations in creating them. Then we're going to talk about what you need in order to get prepared so that you can be ready to take the exam in order to get certified as a Microsoft 365 Teams application developer. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about how Microsoft creates a certification because I find that this provides some useful insight in preparing for the exam. It helps you understand and get a picture of what to expect when you walk into the testing center. And then I'm going to talk about the MS-600 exam itself. This includes how to prepare for the exam, and then finally, I'll give you an introduction to this course and what you can expect from each of the individual chapters. In the next lesson, I'm going to dive into what this certification is all about. So I'll see you in the next lesson.